If you are just joining, welcome in. This is week 4 of the 12 Weeks of Christmas by Just Stamp. Today we are making a large card and we're crafting with lots of layers. So let me share with you today's project. It is focused on the Snowy Wonder bundle. And you can't really tell on camera, but this is an oversized card. It's a 6x6 card. And I'm going to be sharing with you where and how to get the resources for it. So there's my card. It is oversized. It has more layers than I typically craft with, but I think it makes for a fun Christmas project, a very special Christmas card to send out. And we are going to get started with it right away. So I'm going to put the card there. I'm going to tell you I'm focused on the Snowy Wonder bundle with the coordinating dies. And I'm using the sentiment from Peaceful Seasons for the insert. And I'm also using the die from the Citrus Blooms for one of the layers. One last tool, I have the, let's see, what is this called? The Falling. Let's see if I can find the reference. It is the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. You can't really see, but you will be able to see on the project. Sure, you can see the snowflakes there. All right, so again, if you're clicking by, let me know that you're here. Say hello, tell me where you're from. I would love to know that I've got a live viewer. Otherwise, I'm crossing my fingers everyone catches the replay. It's an adorable project that I hope you will consider duplicating. So this is a 6x6 card, and the way I created the 6x6, I have started with a 12x12 cardstock sheet, and the 12x12s are available by the color group. So this one comes from the Brights collection. It is Poppy Parade, and the good thing is that while there are only 2 sheets of each color, there are several colors in each pack that would be very usable for the 6x6 cards. So what I did was cut one 12x12 in half, so it's now 6x12, and I scored it at 6. All right, now you might wonder, and I'm going to share with you the info right off the top. This does require, obviously, a larger envelope, and I'm going to have that, and we're going to decorate that as well. And I will tell you that Stampin' Up! Does not sell the 6x6 envelopes. However, I did find them on that online shopping site where we can get lots of any kind of product. And it is actually larger than 6 inches, so you have plenty of space to get your card in there. It does require extra postage, but this makes for a really special Christmas card, so a little extra postage. I'm willing to pay it, and I wish I could tell you what the US postal rate would be, but I will say that it seems to vary depending on which clerk I get at the post office. So that's the way things work there. All right, I am using the Snowy Wonder pattern paper. It is from the mini catalog, and it is an adorable paper with Poppy Parade, Petal Pink, Pumpkin Pie, Garden Green, Pool Party, and Early Espresso. I absolutely love it, in particular because there are dies from the coordinating dies that will cut images straight from the paper, and I have found several of them. The snow globes, the oval-shaped snow globe, the snowman, the Christmas tree, the snowflake, the penguin. All of those images can be die cut with coordinating dies. So it makes it really easy, and you're going to see as we go along what I've die cut. So let me take out my materials. And again, if you're popping in, let me know that you're here. I know that I'm going to ask, I send probably about 75 Christmas cards. This would not be a card that I mass produce. It will be a special card that I produce early in the season, but it's just extra special. So Poppy Parade 6x12, these are the materials we're gonna need. For the insert, I used a 5x5 basic white, and I have a scrap of Poppy Parade. I'm gonna be creating a label with that. And I also have a, let's see, I need to check, 4" by 3" basic white. And just to save time, I have pre-embossed it with that Falling Snowflake embossing folder, or sorry, Snowflake Sky embossing folder. Let me get the, and so you can see the snow and the flakes falling there. I have also die cut a snow globe and the stand in Pool Party. And I needed a scrap of basic white for some stamping and die cutting. As far as the DSP or the pattern paper is concerned, I use the Petal Pink plaid, and this measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I have the candy cane pattern that measures about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I die cut it, and while I'm using the candy cane pattern, it would also make an adorable layer with the flip side. So that's the bonus of the Stampin' Up! Paper. You always have two options. I'm thinking I'm going to be making a card with that pattern as well. And from the pattern paper, I have already die cut one of the snow globes. So you can see one sheet has lots of snow globes on it. I die cut one of the round with the little village, and I also die cut the coordinating stand for it. From another pattern, let's see, there's a snowflake pattern on here as well. Sorry, a snowman pattern on here as well. I have pre-die cut one of the Christmas trees. And from another one of the sheets, I have die cut one of the penguins. And there's a little bit of stamping, yes, and then there's one more layer on my card. You will see there's a Petal Pink snowflake pattern, and for that we need 4 3/4 by, I believe it's 4 3, so 4 3/4 square. And look what I've done. So let's see if I can show you this. While I need the layer, on the flip side are the snow globes. And so what I did was cut that oval snow globe because I only need this as a layer. This is going to be covered anyway, so no one will know this piece is missing, as well as from some of the other layers as well. From the plaid, I could have die cut the tree from this layer as well. So there's always an opportunity to be very resourceful with this paper. Okay, so now that you know the supplies, let's get started crafting. Again, this is Poppy Parade from the 12 by 12 sheet. It's now 12 by 6, and I scored it right in half at 6 1/2. We are going to fold and burnish. And I love the Poppy Parade for the holidays. And if you are familiar with Stampin' Up, you will know that there's lots of reds. There's Real Red, Cherry Cobbler, Poppy Parade, and I'm gonna say Poppy Parade is probably my favorite for Christmas. What's yours? Which red do you like? Whoops, that kind of went over. All right, next, this is a card with layers. So I'm gonna start by layering my 5 3/4" plaid paper. And this is gonna be flatted here. And again, you could die cut the snowman, you could die cut the tree, and no one would know because a lot of this layer is going to be covered. Mostly what we want is that plaid border peeking out from a lot of the layers. So this is going to be center mounted on the card front. All right, so I've got a nice lighter layer going on. And again, this is from the Snowy Wonder paper pack. Next, I'm going to bring in that layer that I die cut out of, and it's going to be covered mostly and it's going to be flat adhered as well. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere it, but I'm going to leave a little unglued up here because I'm going to be tucking something behind that layer. So let me just flip it over, and I'm going to avoid, let's see, putting glue on the upper edge. And I probably will want to put a little bit around here because I don't want any bit of it peeking out. So this is essentially centered on the plaid. And I'm not sure about you. Again, I don't typically use this many layers on cards, but this paper is just absolutely adorable. I want to showcase most of it. All right, so there's that. Now I have, you can see here, a little snowflake peeking out from behind this layer. This is one of the stamps from the Snowy Wonder bundle, and there is a coordinating dies that makes it really easy. And just to save time, I have pre-stamped and pre-die cut that. And I'm just going to put a little flat adhesive behind. And this is going to be a layer that peeks through right at the top here. There we go. All right, let's keep going with the layering. And again, I am going to bring in my candy cane layer. This was pre-die cut with the citrus blooms, that largest die. I love the shapes on the edging and the stitching around the edges. Now, I don't need the entire die cut, so I'm going to cut it in half. And I will have, let's see, it measures about 5, 2.5. I will have another piece left for another project, and it will be a dilemma because the other side would be absolutely adorable on this as well. Except, of course, it's the wrong orientation, but you can fix that because the candy canes don't require any specific orientation. So this is going to go down flat again, and I'm going to have it peeking out almost to about 1/8 from the border. Flat adhesive. This little village scene is just adorable. I love all the colors in it. There's that pool party, and there's the poppy parade as well, and the garden green. Just, it's super fun, lots of color. And just around there. I'm going to keep working here. Now the next layer, we are going to do a little blending on. I'm moving that off to the side. I'm going to bring in my layer. This is the pre-embossed basic white layer. And because I'm going to be blending, I'm going to just push this out of the way. The beauty of the glass mat is that you can blend right on here. I'm going to bring in my Pool Party ink pad, and I'm looking for my blending brush. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of ink, and I'm going to add some Pool Party around the edges. This just makes the layer pop a little bit more. Since it is white, we want a little bit of color on there, not too much. I want it white, snowy, but I want the edges to pop off the layer. So we're going to do this, and you can see, I'll show you up close, the bumps in the snowflakes in the snow pick up that Pool Party ink very nicely. And I love it when the denser snow is at the bottom. So this is going to go on the card, this orientation, but we're not quite ready yet. I am going to be adding some of that adorable pom-pom ribbon in Pool Party. And you can see the ribbon is white and it has pom-poms on both edges. I didn't want both edges, so what I did was trim the pom-pom ribbon straight up the middle we are going to be placing this onto our basic white layer, and I'll show you how I did that. First of all, I'm going to bring in a mat, and to get this secured onto here, essentially this is what I want to do. There's an easy way. I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to grab my tear and tape right through here and just place it right along the edge. Securing ribbon and bows sometimes is hard. Usually I use glue dots. I don't want to use glue dots here. The tear and tape is the ticket. And I'm going to bring in my, take your pick tool to remove that layer. Let's see if I can pull that up. Just trying to get the backing off. Put that away so I don't lose it. All right, so now what I'm going to do is bring in the pom-pom, and I do want a little bit of that pool party showing through. So let's put it up at the top. So there we go. I just need to trim off a tiny edge there of that ribbon. I'm going to pull in my ribbon scissors and trim it off there. And we're ready to add this layer. I'm going to do it with flat adhesive. My favorite flat adhesive is the Tombow liquid glue. You could use Seal, either one. I find the liquid glue to be very economical and very forgiving. Okay, so next, this is going to be placed, oh, I'm forgetting one thing. I want to tuck that label that says Season's Greeting behind this layer. So let me bring that in. I have pre-stamped and heat embossed the Season's Greetings with the essential or the basics Wow embossing powder, and it really does do a wow job. This measures, the label measures about 1 1/8 by 2 1/4, and this is going to be tucked right behind this layer. So around so, maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch from the base. So let's do this a little bit more secure, and let's put some liquid glue on that as well. Not a lot. Oops, it's kind of shifting. Let's see. It'll be easier to place when it's down. So I want it about 1/2 inch off. Bring it in right around so, and bringing it up there. And now you're going to see those cutouts from the pattern paper are not even showing, and we got some extra images for another card from it. All right, so there we go. Look at that, it's coming together. So far we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. I'm going to keep going. We still need our focal point art, and for that I'm going to bring in the snow globe that I pre-die cut from the pattern paper. But because I want to add some stability to it, I pre-die cut a pool party snow globe as well, and I'm just going to stick those together, and that just makes this layer a bit more rigid. The pattern paper is a lighter weight than the cardstock, so it's a little bit helpful to do this. And I also did it for the base of the snow globe, again in pool party. All right, so I have been looking, I don't have any comments yet that I can see. And I know if you are watching, if you have an opinion, give me a thumbs up, share the video, make a comment. It's just helpful for my small business to get some activity on the video. So hopefully not everyone has to catch the replay. All right, I'm going to flip this over. This is going to be adhered or stuck down with Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just going to be generous in supporting the layer. It is an oversized card, a 6x6, and I love the size. It's going to stand out in the recipient's mail, and it gives you plenty of space on the inside to write a nice message or even attach a family photo on the inside of the card. The envelopes you can pick up online. I have a supply of the 6x6. I do tend to use them quite a bit, so I bought quite a supply, and they're very nice quality available as well. All right, next I'm going to add the base of the snow globe. Same way, just going to go and add that there and there. All right, and it goes right at the base. This is just the easiest way. You could stamp the snow globe and create the scene as well. We have all the elements in the stamp set, so it's very doable to either stamp or to die cut. I love the look of the paper. That's why I chose to do the die cuts for this one. I probably will try stamping as well. All right, now I'm going to add my smaller elements. I die cut a tree and I die cut a penguin. So this is going to go off to the side, and I'm going to add that with a dimensional. And let's see. Oh, I thought I had some mini dimensionals. I don't see any. So let's put it off to the side. It's going to go a little bit further down and over. And because I don't want this double stacked, there is a portion of the tree that's not secure. So I'm just going to add a little liquid glue dot right behind so that it sticks down. And that's just helpful so that when the card comes in and out of the envelope, it doesn't get stuck in the in the action. And then I'm going to add my penguin as well with the dimensional going off to the side. I don't want to double stack. And I'm just going to put this up in here. And I'll do the same for the penguin. That little arm needs to be secure. There we go. Oops. And I see a dimensional cover. Let me bring in the tweezers there. All right. It is shaping up. What do you think? I love this oversized layered card. We're not quite finished. We have the season's greeting label, but we also have the Let It Snow, which I pre-stamped on basic white paper with Poppy Parade, and I hand snipped it. This is going to go flat on the snow globe. So when I was designing it, I was in a quandary about where to place this one. For a second, I thought I wanted it there, but I like the triangle that's formed if I put it up in the snow globe. So you'll see what I mean about the triangle. So we have our images. So 1, 2, 3, making the triangle there. And we're almost done with the outside. I am going to add my embellishments. You can see I have those cute loose snowflakes on the card front, and they are loose. They come in a little container with a lot of snowflakes. I'm just going to pour a few in here. It makes it more manageable. There we go. And I am going to secure them by adding a little dot of glue where I want a snowflake. So you can put as many or as few as you like. Now to pick up the snowflakes, I am using part of my Take Your Pick tool. I'm just using the rubber tip tool, and I'm going to pick up a snowflake and drop it right onto the dot of glue. That way you don't struggle picking these tiny snowflakes up with your fingers. And some of them are really tiny. There's 2 sizes of snowflakes. They are just adorable, and you're going to have plenty in one container. All right, so again, you could put as many as you want or as few. I'm gonna put one more. I have one more glue dot there. And there is the outside. What do you think? I think it's an adorable card. It's my card. So I would say that, right? Okay, so we're almost done. And I have my insert basic white. And before I insert it into the card, I'm going to stamp it with my holiday greeting in Poppy Parade ink. And I'm borrowing the greeting from the Peaceful Season stamp set. So I have Christmas, and then I'm going to use the small Mary to make my message on the inside. And this Christmas, I love the size of the font. So let's see. I'm going to ink up, and I'm going to be really careful to ink up. One, because red ink seems to land on white when you don't want it to. And I want to make sure this is a large greeting. I want to make sure that it's plenty juicy. The ink is plenty juicy. I'm going to put that down, press firmly. All right, so nice and crisp, just like I wanted it. And then the Mary, I'm going to tuck it right above the MAS right in here. And hopefully I got a good inking. There we go. Now the plus side of stamping before you stick is if it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, I always have the option of turning it over. But I want to add a little bit more to my insert. Like, why not? I have all that space, right? So I'm going to bring in my garden green ink, and I'm going to stamp a couple of trees. And these exact trees, there is a stamp for them in the stamp set. And I'm stamping in garden green, inking up my ink pads, not quite juicy, so I'm going to make sure that I have lots of ink on there. Stamp down. And I want a second. And right now I've stamped completely in garden green. I'm going to do a second tree. And the trees do have trunks, so what I'm doing is bringing in my early espresso marker, and I'm just going to fill in the trunk with early espresso. That, to me, is the easiest way to get the second color of ink on my tree. All right, then let me get rid of this. This goes on the inside of the card, opening up. And you'll see how sweet it looks. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive along the perimeter. Just like so. All right, let me flip that. And I have a nice wide border. I'm trying to do an equal border all the way around. And there we go. So here's the card. Whoops, I have a loose snowflake here. Let me put that. So Let It Snow, Season's Greeting. It's a 6x6 oversized card. We do have the large envelope, and since we have such a large envelope, let's see. I was hoping I had a block. I think I'm going to borrow the snowman for the envelope, and I haven't used this snowman yet, so I'm going to show you what I like to do with my new photopolymer stamps. So there is the stamp, and I'm mounting it on a D block, and since it's the first time I've used it, I'm going to rub my eraser directly onto the photopolymer stamp. This usually gives me a better impression. Sometimes the ink doesn't stick on a brand new photopolymer stamp, and that eraser gives it a little bit of treatment so that it will. So next I'm gonna put my little snowman here. Super cute, but let's add a little hat. And again, this is in the stamp set. I'll bring that out. And I have a smaller block. This is block B. And I'm gonna repeat the same technique. I haven't used the hat yet. I'm gonna ink up in black and put a little hat on my snowman. And there we go. There's our envelope to coordinate with our card. We have our Let It Snow oversized card. It's a 6x6 card and a 6x6 envelope. Put them both in there. And yeah, there is today's project. It is week number 4 of the 12 Weeks of Christmas by Just Stamp. I hope that you enjoy the project. If you would like the project sheet, make sure you're on the email list. I'll put a link right above the video so you can join. And I will be shipping out, also known as emailing out, the tutorial on Sunday by noon. So if you're watching on the replay or over on the YouTube channel, make sure you get on the email list by Sunday noon when the tutorial will go out. Let me know if you enjoyed the project. Give me a thumbs up. Share the video with someone you think might enjoy it. Leave a comment. I appreciate it. Thanks for spending time with me. Until next week, week 5. Have a great week.